He may have been teasing it since his return from a Twitch ban, but will Dr. Disrespect finally pull the trigger and say he is looking to own a CDL team, possibly alongside Nadeshot and H3CZ? And the most anticipated game of 2020, Cyberpunk 2077, had its massive world map leaked, and boy is it a big one. Plus, Cloud9 returned to competitive Halo with the announcement of a seasoned pro team that looks to become the top dog ahead of Halo Infinite's release, and all that and more next on The Breakdown. Welcome back to a Tuesday of epic proportions, and that's only because I get to hang out with cool people like you. Thanks so much for checking us out, and remember, if you're looking to get the latest in esports and video games straight to your subscription box on YouTube, hit that subscribe button and stay in the loop about the stuff that matters to you. Without further ado, let's jump into the news. Dr. Disrespect responds to rumors about wanting to own a CDL team. If you thought Dr. Disrespect would ride off quietly into the sunset on his YouTube horse after returning from his Twitch ban and subsequently rocking the boat by even having his voice featured on streams that were playing on Twitch, think again. Soon, we may have to be discussing Dr. Disrespect less as a streamer personality and more as an organization owner, and that's kind of crazy. Thanks a bunch, 2020. The CDL is only a year old, and it's already had plenty of interest and involvement from huge names that want to be involved in the future. And with the chaos surrounding the purchase of Optic Gaming by H3CZ, it seems like more chaos could be in the future very soon. After H3CZ picked up his former org, Nadeshot teased a possible involvement and stoked the fires even more with an Instagram picture of him, H3CZ, and Doc all standing together captioned Mount Rushmore. It seems a little bit flimsy at best, but once you see what Dr. Disrespect said on stream less than 48 hours ago, everything seems to be leaning towards their involvement together. This comes right after a viewer asked the two-time on stream, do you ever plan to have your own professional team?
In Super Chat says, shout out to VSM Keone. Doc, will you ever plan on to have your own professional team? Says Wipeout with a $2 donation. Well, I have my own.
Hostile dropping into the area. Preparation is done. Now you deploy to the war zone.
Will I have my own? Probably not. Will I be a part as a shareholder? You never know.
Really though, it's still all conjecture. But with H3CZ being forced to either sell Optic or give up the Huntsman spot in the CDL, things could get pretty spicy soon. There's no news on any rush to have changes to the CDL made, especially since we already know that the first 12 teams from the first year of competition will still all be in the mix again in 2021. Are there any other huge name streamers or personalities that you would want to own or operate a professional org, either in the CDL or another esport? Who and what would you want to have happen? Shoot us a tweet at CheckpointXP with your thoughts, and you could be featured on our nationally syndicated radio show. Cyberpunk 2077 world map leaked, reveals more about upcoming release. Can you taste it? We are just over a month away from the release of possibly the most anticipated game of not only this year, but the past 8 years since it was announced. Fans have been starving for any content that they could find about this game, and between Keanu Reeves' involvement to the massive crunch that Studio CD Projekt Red is going through, there's been plenty of news surrounding the game. But leaks about the game itself have been few and far between, with the most that people have learned being through official announcements and releases from the studio themselves. But now, as we see the finish line, hopefully, in the distance, a leak has given us the most info we have gotten so far about the actual size and layout of the world that the game will take place in. Yesterday, a leaker posted what seems to be a physical map that comes included in the physical edition of the game that shows off the game's many different locales, such as Haywood, Santo Domingo, and Watson. This comes at the same time as the announcement of this game going gold. Again, 8 years after it was announced, no big deal. And fans are craving still more content that they can find. But sadly, the biggest disappointment with Cyberpunk 2077 right now is the fact that the employees of CD Projekt Red are involved in last-minute crunch to get the game out the door. Before the complaints come, yes, the employees say they are being compensated well. Yes, the game has already been pushed back or delayed multiple times. And yes, there are plenty more things inside of the games industry that are infinitely more harmful. But looking into my crystal ball, if Cyberpunk is the massive success it looks to be, you can expect plenty of other studios in the industry to require crunch at their own studios, and most of them aren't going to be compensating their employees well or even producing a product as high of quality as Cyberpunk will be. When you're an industry leader, you set the standard for the rest of the people who follow in your footsteps, and I really worry about what will be seen long term as the effect of having to do this crunch. From the physical map that was leaked for this game, sometimes it may take crunch to get a game that big out the door. But if it means that it harms game devs across the industry, in the future, I would prefer a smaller game that makes me just a little bit less happy than doing long-term harm to the people who make games for others' enjoyment. Cloud9 returned to competitive Halo with announcement of top-tier team. It's 2020, and do you think you'd be hearing about competitive Halo team announcements? For a year that you thought couldn't get any weirder, Cloud9 is back in the thick of things before the announcement of Halo Infinite, bringing together a team of both COD and Halo pros who are looking to take back the crown of competitive Halo to the North American team. The new roster is comprised mostly of the former NA team Turning Point, featuring 4 of the 5 players who left in early summer of this year, leaving only Swift Kill out of the new lineup, and includes Stellar and Echo, who have experience on the big stage after winning the Halo World Championship in 2018 and taking 3rd the year before that. And even more than that, you've got Renegade, who's a monster and the only guy ever to have won championships in both 2v2 and 4v4 free-for-all. And even more than that, Penguin rejoins his former Team Liquid teammates to round out a group of people that not only have had massive success in the past, but also already have chemistry from playing together. We're probably not going to see this team in action anytime before the release of Halo Infinite in early 2021, so no need to get too excited quite yet. But when they do debut, expect to see huge results from any tournaments they enter. But with Cloud9 making a push to include Halo on its team rosters, does this mean that esports orgs are taking Halo seriously again? Or is Cloud9 just going to be another outlier? I'm still not convinced about the future of Halo esports, but I've been wrong before. Quite a bunch. So I would just want to see what could happen with it. Weirder things have gone down before, and with Microsoft driving the ship, there could be some momentum to make something like this pop again in the new age of esports. That's it for the news today. Thanks so much for hanging out with us. We are always posting brand new content here on our YouTube channel, but did you know that Checkpoint XP is the only syndicated radio show in over 70 cities across the US and Canada that talks exclusively esports and video games? If you go to our website at checkpointxp.com, you can see where we're airing and if we're in a city near you. My name's Weirdbeard, and Hades is easily up for Game of the Year this year.